Second. Agree with your prior statements. A lot of Mike doesn't have it.
Call to order of the St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency Civic Development Corporation. Roll call.
Mr. Staples.
Here.
Mr. LaBeouf. Mr. Blevins.
Here.
Mr. McMahon.
Here.
Mr. Morrill. Mr. Reagan.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Public notice was published September 19th, 2022. Is there public comment, sir? There being no public comment, do I have a motion to approve minutes of August 11th, 2022?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Financial report, June, July 2022. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second. Second. Discussion.
Very quickly, in June, there's not much activity. Your net income for the month was $600 approximately, and for July, you had banking interest accumulated of $3.
Driven up on
Not yet.
it. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Being none opposed, passes unanimously. Reporting committee, staff report, Patrick Kelly.
I have no report for the CPC.
Thank you. All business are being done, new business. We have two resolutions. First, resolution accepting the fiscal year 2023 tentative budget. Do I hear a motion? Second.
Second.
Discussion.
A very simple budget, same process as with the IDA and the LDC. And we have looked at last year's expenditures, year to date, potential project activity. And he asked you to review it in detail, and if you recommend changes for the final budget, please give them to us before the next meeting.
All in favor of accepting the resolution with tentative budget?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Yea, passes unanimously. Second resolution, authorizing, a subvention. St. Lawrence County Property Development Corporation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion. Discussion.
I'll highlight subvention being a Tom Plastino word. I saw you.
Yes.
Um,
I took a little Latin, but I had never had that word.
So when the PDC was created, common board membership, the CPC and the IDA and the LDC, as is laid out in this resolution. The idea was it has the ability to help support some of the project activities, goals, and missions of the affiliated LDCs or the IDA. You have before used CPC as a resource provider for the PDC specifically, but for the other organizations. As we are winding down the second phase of the 100 Patterson Street rehabilitation project, this is PDC is requesting funding from the CDC to help with the cost of this phase and for any additional or unforeseen building expenses with the amount of $200,000.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Any needs for executive session?
There is not.
Or motion to adjourn? Yeah. A reopening St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency Local Development Corporation for resolution. Call to order. Roll call.
Mr. Staples.
Here.
Mr. LaBeouf. Mr. Blevins.
Here.
Mr. McMahon.
Here.
Mr. Morrill. Mr. Reagan.
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Public comment. In the prior meeting, approval of minutes, financial report, report to committee, staff report, and old business were all attended to. New business, additional resolution authorizing the application for grant funds through the Northern Border Regional Commission. Be resolved that the St. Lawrence County Industrial Development Agency Local Development Corporation officers, subject to legal counsel opinion and each hereby designated, authorized, empowered, and directed to execute and deliver any and all grant agreements necessary to effectuate the transactions contemplated by this resolution. Patrick Kelly, Chief Officer, will be the authorized official to sign project documents.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
That's sufficient.
Yes, that's just an amendment to a previously approved resolution that specifically lists my name with the title. It's a technical correction to a resolution that had been passed. That's all we needed to do.
It's from Cornell and it's a bunch of bullshit. Accepted.
Move we adjourn the meeting.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, after that was good to the end there. Ready to go? Thank you very much. Call over the St. Lawrence County Property Development Corporation, September 23rd, 2022. Call to order, roll call.
Mr. Staples,
Here.
Mr. LaBeouf, Mr. Blevins,
Here.
Mr. McMahon,
Here.
Mr. Morrell, Mr. Reagan,
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Everyone being here, public notice was issued September 19th, 2022. Public comment, there being none, approval of minutes. A motion to accept the August 11th, 2022 minutes.
Second.
Second, discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Public comment? None. Approval of minutes, August 11th, 2022 meeting. Motion?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Financial report, June, July 2022. Motion?
So moved.
Second? Seconded.
June financials is a typical month. You will see you paid retainer expenses and some expenses associated with 100 Patterson Street building. In July, you also paid utilities associated with 100 Patterson Street building. Other than that, everything was normal expenditures and revenues.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Board committee, staff report. Dr. Kelly,
No staff report.
old business. None?
No?
New business. Resolution accepting the fiscal year 2023 tentative budget. Motion for that.
Second.
Mr. Kelly, discussion.
Pretty simple budget again. There may be impact as we close out this final step of the phase 2 of the 100 Patterson Street project. You have a resolution that is going to be requesting money from the Civic Development Corporation for some of the final costs this year. At our next meeting, we anticipate having a closeout resolution that lists all the change orders and all the various expenditures to the project, whether that impacts the next year's budget with any unforeseen work or plan, we'll bring to you at the next meeting. But in the meantime, if you see anything or any questions or recommended changes prior to next month's final budget, please let us know.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There being no opposed, passes unanimously. Resolution requesting funds from the St. Lawrence County IDA Civic Development Corporation. Third motion.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
As we wind up the phase 2 of the 100 Patterson Street rehabilitation project, there are costs that we've been talking about. You approved some last meeting. We've had other discussions about the final work. We have requested, Civic Development Corporation has approved a subvention of $200,000 to the Property Development Corporation for this purpose. This is the formal request. It lays out very clearly that the board members of the IDA, CDC, and PDC are identical as the organizations like the C. So there's no question about exactly who is who. That's what we're just requesting the money.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Is there a need for executive session
There is not.
or a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
Thanks, Andy.